Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Welcome back to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. I am Mike, and I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts, Miguel and Mark. How's it going, guys?
You know, if you want to make a bad financial decision, you buy a jersey for a team player before the final roster cut.
So, what do you want to talk about?
How about my brand new black Eagles jersey for Kevon Wallace? Thanks, bud. They really help for you.
Yes, we are fresh off the 53-man roster has been unveiled. Some of our predictions were right on, some not so much.
I think honestly, I'm looking it over. I think we hit most. A few people shocked me, but
like
most
how he makes a trade for a tight end, which probably pushes Brady Russell out the door. So we'll see. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over that roster. We're going to give you our predictions for our Eagles record for the season, and then we'll also give you a little bit of a Super Bowl prediction here. See how we do. Last year we weren't right, but hey, nobody was right in the Super Bowl last year.
Right. Hey, can I start us off here with a very special part of our roster? So
here we go.
I got one for all of us.
Into it. Let's just dive.
Why not? I got one. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So, fourth down, our own 38-yard line, 6 yards to go. We don't have a punter. What are we doing?
What do we need a punter for? We're always scoring.
What was the theme of last year, Mark?
That's right.
The ball.
Let's go. I love that. I just love that he cut the punters. He was just like, you know what? We don't need them.
Nope. So there's so much talk yesterday. Well, yeah, I guess the before 4 o'clock, there's talks about how Derek Barnett wanted to be traded because he wasn't going to get enough play time. Boo-hoo to Derek Barnett. And then so the Eagles, told him that he can go find a trade. And I thought he wasn't going to be on the team because of that. And I was wrong because we were all wrong because he is on the team. I think
on the team.
I'm going to let Howie Cook still, Howie has, he surprises me every day. Like the fact that he has a 53-man roster and no punter on the team, just like this guy he's on another planet right now. I was just listening to his interview with Sirianni yesterday about the cuts and stuff. Guy's so smooth.
He is. I was watching it as well.
He kind of makes me think. Now, you guys might know. I don't know if I've talked about it too much. I'm a bit of a foodie. I like a lot of Food Network kind of shows. Like I love a lot of Gordon Ramsay. He reminds me of one of those guys that shows up for one of those like tryouts. And you see like those star chefs looking at the guy like, what are you doing? Like, you don't mix those ingredients. Like, I don't even want to taste your food. All of a sudden it comes out and you're like, how does it taste like this? Like, that's like, because half the time I watch how he's moved the past few years, Rager over Jefferson. Just going to throw that. I'm never going to let him go for that one. Don't care what he does. That's going to always sit on top.
It's all right. They just cut him today, so
I know, but he still comes out with this team. Like it's just like how
I don't know he's doing it. I don't know. So let's go from the top to the bottom here. We starting with Jalen Hurts as our number 1 quarterback, which we knew.
Yeah, who's our number 2 there, Mike?
It looks like I don't know if this is the depth chart or not, or it's just like, or it could just be like alphabetical order. But they got Marcus Mariota as number 2
for now,
and Tanner McKee as our 3.
Weird.
Right?
Weird. It's weird because I'm looking at the rest of it. It doesn't look like it's an alphabetical order because next goes Gainwell, Swift, Penny, Scott. So
yeah, we got our running back here, our 4-headed monster. Turns out Trey Sherman doesn't make the team, and
I kind of figured
that he just gets released, or I thought maybe they were going to trade him. Some guy put on Instagram, Derek Barnett, Trey Sermon, and a couple of draft picks for Jonathan Taylor. Can we please stop with this Jonathan Taylor nonsense? I don't want this guy for so many reasons. So many. Don't want him. And so he didn't get traded. Jonathan Taylor didn't get traded. So he's now out for the first 4 games of the season. So good thing we didn't draft our fantasy football season now, because someone would have taken him, I'm sure.
You would have taken him.
Yep.
I would have
taken him.
I will say, so
On my lap at the 12th pick. I would have had to take him.
my first draft happened already.
Yeah.
And he went in the 4th round.
Hey, look, but it's a waste. He's 4 games. It's done. 4 games.
Yeah,
Done.
I had one draft. He went in like the 7th round. He went towards the end.
A lot of people were-
Middle end.
However, when he does start playing, that's a pickup.
Yeah. No thanks.
You got him in the 7th round. Yeah, you don't like him because you had the worst luck in history. You're like my buddy with Saquon, who drafted Saquon like 2 years ago when he had an absolute dumpster
Terrible,
fire of a
yeah.
season. He let Derrick Henry fall to me, who had one of his best seasons ever.
So yeah, our running back room is DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, Rashard Penny, and Boston Scott. Pretty solid. We know that Swift is going to be the main guy, I'm going to guess.
I think so.
He's going to get most of the carries.
It's going to be interesting how they divvy up that running game between Gainwell and Swift.
I think
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see a lot of Swift and Gainwell. I think you're gonna see Penny on a lot of those like third
Short,
downs.
Yeah,
like,
third
when
and
it's
short.
And I think I think when we play the Giants, it's gonna be the Boston Scott show. It's
Yeah.
like, hey,
Boston Scott
we
gets
only
all of it.
have you for 2 games a year. my
Just
guy.
feed Boston Scott during the Giants games. That's all I want to see at this point.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, pretty good. Here we got AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins, he's got to have a big year, because,
I will say I'm kind of surprised we only went with 4 receivers. I feel like most teams carry 5 or 6.
right.
Like I know you only ever go like 4 wide, but like
Well, like,
usually you want someone for if we're running hard, we're just scoring. Someone's got to take a break. Like
Right.
at this point, we could be up by 40 points, and who do you have at receiver? Like, if you're trying to rest Brown or Smith, you only have 2 receivers. Then.
Right. Like they went with 4. The 4th guy is Almighty Zacharias.
Yep.
And so then they went with 4 tight ends. So they got Dallas Goedert, they kept Stahl, Grant Calcaterra, and then Howie makes a trade. I think it was like a 5th round pick or 6th round pick for
Let's see how
Albert
you announce this one.
Okwebamba.
Nice. Okay, nice. Because I was
Yes.
like, how do you even say this name? I don't even know how to say it.
So 4 running backs, 4 receivers,
I-
4 tight ends.
Full transparency, I was practicing his name before we got on here.
Did you get it right?
Okwebamba? Yeah. So I think now see, because he made that trade, that's why I think Brady Russell got cut. And I'm going to reach out to Brady about that and see if he, now that he's not part of the Eagles, or I don't know if he's going to even make the practice squad or not, but I'm
Hope
going to
so.
try to see if he can, get to talk to him. Our O-line, interior offensive lineman, we have Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, and Sua Opeta.
Yep.
Pretty solid right there. So we got Landon Dickerson, Kelsey, and Jurgens are going to start.
Oh yeah.
Steen's going to be backup. And then our our outside tackles, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Jack Driscoll. That guy hangs around. And Fred Johnson, which we knew was going to be on the team because of that signing that they did.
I was talking to him the other day about Jack Driscoll. It was like some people were complaining about him. I was like, you know what? You have to understand that where he is skill wise, he would probably start on some low end teams in the NFL. So that's a better backup than most teams have as a backup. I don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't have to bring somebody new in and teach them your stuff. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
True.
it keeps the line intact as far as communication and shit. So.
Yeah, he's going to Stoutland U, so he's going to come out pretty good,
right?
Exactly.
Let's see now. Now on the defensive side of the ball, we've got our ends, which is Hassan Reddick, which he said he'll be back week 1. Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, Derek Barnett makes the team, but I don't think he's going to stay on the team. He's going to get traded or cut or something.
Hopefully.
And then Patrick Johnson.
Right.
Those are a lot of ends. I don't see.
That's 3 DNs and 3 Sams.
Okay,
Because Reddick, Smith, and Johnson are actually Sam linebackers.
Right. Right.
So it's just that edge role that's been developing in the NFL, where you've got these players like Reddick or Micah Parsons who can line up and just blitz you all day, but they can also drop back and be a very phenomenal linebacker coverage guys.
Yeah, like Hassan Reddick, I would consider him a linebacker on over a D end.
Yeah,
you know,
so it's 100%. It's that Sam position.
Yeah. So our linebackers, which I think we were right on here with Nakobe Dean, Zach Cunningham, and Christian Elias.
Yeah. Then we think we might keep Morrow as well.
All right, and they cut him.
We cut Morrow. But hey, Zach Cunningham had a great preseason. Christian Ellis looked pretty good. Nakobe Dean had some flashes, and I think it's going to be very great with him with that green dot. I think it's going to be a very core guy to our defense moving forward.
And then our corners, we got Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, Josh Jobe makes the team, Eli Ricks, undrafted free agent, Keely Ringo, and Mario Goodrich. Like, that's solid.
Yeah, it's deep.
Solid.
Well, we said that the last pod, like they were going to try to keep them on the roster somehow. So
they certainly did. They certainly did.
Yeah.
Safety, we have Reed Blankenship, Terrell Edmonds, Sidney Brown makes the team, of course, and then Justin Evans, which that was a bit of a surprise. He wasn't really on my radar at all. What about you guys?
I mean, I bought a jersey for a safety who's not here, so you know what how I felt about it.
Yeah. And then special teams, we have Jake Elliott and Rick Lovato, our long snapper. And then Howie goes with no punter, who is he's the placeholder for Jake Elliott. So what have you heard? I've heard some stuff. What have you guys heard about what his idea was?
I haven't heard anything about the idea for punter. I'm sure the placeholder will probably that will move to Mariota or McKee, so that you kind of have that option play. I mean, a lot of if you have a problem, you like having a quarterback. It makes sense from obviously in my standpoint. Look, I go, well, Mariota's got a little more movement to him than McKee, but you might want to put McKee there, give him those reps. He's just placeholding 99% of the time,
but he's in the game. He's in the game. Yeah, his head's in the game if he's part of the game. I think that's where they should go with that. And now I know they. Go ahead, Miguel.
No, I just heard something about the Buffalo guy. I don't really know his name, but
I heard about a Steelers guy.
He's called the punter god, the punt god. I think they call him.
God. Yeah, punt god.
Matt Ariza. I think his name is Matt Ariza.
Wasn't he charged or something?
Yeah, a lot of stuff with him. I don't know. How he went ahead and signed this guy is Isaiah Rogers from the Colts. But he's suspended for the whole year.
Yeah, because of Calvin Ridley. The same thing Ridley did. Yeah. Don't mind Kamara beating someone to death. Don't mind Deshaun Watson. They just get a few game suspension. You gambled on games you weren't a part of.
How dare you?
You have to sit out all season.
Right.
Yeah.
And what? They only use DraftKings as a sponsor. It's so backwards. So backwards. Definitely so he's out. But he was like the fifth of top corner in the league last year.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah. And he can also return punts.
And I love how teams it goes the same way as the NFL as a whole. Like they immediately cut ties with him. Atlanta cut ties with Ridley. The Saints had Alvin Kamara who almost went to jail. And they're like, that's all right. The Raiders didn't even cut ties with Ruggs for the longest time. Deshaun Watson gets the largest contract in the NFL. I'm like, wait a second. We need to change the culture here a little bit. You can't this is wrong. I understand you don't want guys gambling. Okay, fine. Talk to them about it. Make them, maybe make a salary cut. They have to make something out of there. But obviously, if they're betting on games that has nothing to do with them, I just don't understand it. So a full year suspension. What?
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time.
Insane.
Yeah. A couple of notable things that were cut. The Patriots only have one quarterback on their team.
Yeah, they got Zappy.
They cut both their backups. The only quarterback they got is Mac Jones.
Thinking about the Patriots, what do you guys think? I understand he wants to be back, but what do you guys think about having Hassan Reddick just take the first week off? Let Nolan Smith rock that work. Make sure that his thumb is 100% after surgery.
Yeah. You go. You answer that, Miguel.
Yeah, no, I mean that sounds perfectly fine to me. If you want to just, but he hasn't had any reps all preseason, so I'd like to get him in there and get him game ready for the later games. But I can see trying to rest him for that first week, bring him in from Minnesota, and let him eat on Cousins.
Yeah,
That'd be
love
fun
to see
time.
that. That'd be great.
Yeah, I just don't want him to risk that. Like, if there's anything left heel wise, like I don't know exactly the extent of the surgery he had, but if there's anything left, it's like, hey, it's still tender. I don't want to see him risk it. It's the first game of the season.
If anything, they put a cast on it. One of those clubs. You know how they wrapped it up in the club, and you can just smack one of those linemen over the head with it.
Yeah, they can do that. They could do that.
Yeah.
What are some other things?
Who's our other safety?
Do we also want to talk about the trade that happened with Dallas? Do we want to talk about this trade? Anybody want to talk about?
That's
anybody want
to?
Time.
That's a great one.
I'm just waiting for the rest of for that team just to implode on itself right now.
I just want to know who implodes more.
Because
that's not a good look for San Fran either.
It's not a good look at all. It's not a good look that they're putting all their, Okay, so this is what we're talking about. If you don't already know, the 49ers have this QB controversy with Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold of all people, and Trey Lance. Trey Lance has now been traded to the Dallas Cowboys. So
for a 6th-round draft pick.
For a 6th-round
hold of Trey Lance, they had to give up 3 first-round picks.
Right.
And something else, I believe.
Yeah,
probably.
I was gonna say as a player too.
To draft him.
They just gave him to the Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. That's it. And so now Dak Prescott's midseason replacement is officially here. We all know that.
Clock is ticking now, Dak.
Well, the clock is now this guy. I just made a post, and we're going to keep track of this for the whole season. Rain Prescott's, by the way, Dak's name is Rain, Rayne, Rain. So now he is now Rain Prescott. I will call him as Rain Prescott. We're going to keep a tally of his interceptions. So far, I looked up online, and Dallas reporters kept track of his interceptions through practice. He has thrown 7 through practice already. So
you thought he was going to throw 10 this year? You might want to double that number now.
Yeah, right. I'm predicting at least 18 interceptions for him.
There's no way they won't let him get that many.
Yeah, I was going to say
there's
no way.
Bench him by the time he hits 12.
If the coaching staff is any type of competency, then they won't let him get to 18.
So Trey Lance isn't his replacement. That's Cooper Rush's replacement. Because Dak's getting benched. Cooper Rush going to come in and have I'm Cooper Rush again. And someone's going to do to him what we did.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, Trey?
Yeah. Somebody said, put a meme out that Jerry didn't have his glasses on. He thought he was trading for Patrick Mahomes, but it ended up being Trey Lance.
Wow.
I saw that.
Yeah, that imploded. Did you see how they questioned Dak? Did they tell you they were going to make the trade? Was there any discussion? He was like, nope, I didn't know anything. No. He's like, yeah, I guess that's just the business of this. Bro.
Sure, that's what it is. Yes,
bro. I thought he was gonna cry. I thought he was gonna cry when he asked him that question. For real, I'm not
gonna lie. I think that's a weak answer. I feel like if when we signed Mariota, if you would ask Hurts about it, I don't think Hurts had a question. It's not like Mariota's coming for my job. No, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a backup. Oh yeah, no, he's enjoying the locker room. He'll be great. He's there to help out and learn whatever. And we're gonna focus. We're gonna win. Dak's
gonna turn into Carson Wentz.
Man, I I didn't know anything about it, but I guess that's business. And it's like
exactly, he's not gonna Carson Wentz on you, shrivel up and cry in the corner.
I say you should have just stood up in the front. I personally feel like he could have taken a better approach, but they want to see who else they can get in the room to kind of build better, better future for the team, better, a little camaraderie, someone we can work with, and I feel like I can teach him a lot of things. Yeah, that kind of gives you I'm still the leader. Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm afraid of my new my replacement. That's what it's going to happen. And because he's going to be afraid of this replacement, he's going to throw far more interceptions than he thought he's ever going to throw.
I'll tell you what.
He's gonna put a lot of pressure on himself now.
Mm-hmm.
The only Dallas player on my team in fantasy this year is Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. There it is. The only
I
Dallas
was gonna say, wow.
the only
He
Dallas has
drafted
made
a
the
Dallas
Super Bowl.
player.
I actually did that during my draft the other day, the live draft. And I said, while we're going through, I got to my pick. Goddard was available. I was like, guys, the only Dallas player I'm going to have on my team. And someone had already drafted Pollard. Someone had drafted CD Lamb. And everyone's like, oh, who you taking? And so I was like, no way you took Dak. And I put Goddard on there. Like, man, like, you fool with us. Yes, I am. I'm not putting a Cowboy on my team.
I can't wait to see who drafts Dak Prescott in our fantasy draft.
Nobody. That's not going to be drafted.
Matt's going to draft Dak.
Not. That's not that stupid.
We'll see. Mark my
Can't
words.
be that. There's too many good quarterbacks to draft that garbage.
Right. We'll see. We'll see.
I would take Daniel Jones over Dak Prescott.
Ouch.
Easy.
Ouch.
Hot take.
Hey, you know what? Baker Mayfield's got Mike Evans. He might have a better upside.
That's true. Mike Evans has never had like under 1,000 yards in his career.
9 years straight, I think it is.
Yeah. And this might be the year. Is he going to break it this year? I don't know.
Who's going to have a better season, Matt Stafford or Baker Mayfield?
Matt Stafford.
Have you heard about Stafford though? Stafford has come out and said that I'm sorry. Let me change that. His wife has come out and said that he is having a hard time relating to all the young players on the Rams, and he doesn't know how to interact with them.
Maybe not. Maybe it is Mayfield. I'm thinking it's like Stafford. I'm like, yeah, but there's like, he's got Cooper Kupp. He's got at least decent O-line. He's got Cam Akers. Like, he should do better.
He should. We'll see. So most of these teams after these cuts, I think, are still kind of in question of who really on their team. With the Patriots, with only one quarterback, and the Cowboys kind of getting a trade to get Dak's replacement. Like, what's going on? I think Howie is good to go. If he's got a solid team, he'll pick up a punter somewhere. If not, he'll just sign Sipos again. Like, I'm sure.
We'll just have Moro Jomo kick the ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say we just have a pick a fan out the crowd day, and you punt. You be the punter.
And to be honest, if you're always scoring touchdowns or field goals, do you really need a punter? Like, why would you need a punter if you're only scoring?
I mean, I'm watching Good Morning Good Morning Football, and they just announced that the Patriots just traded their kicker to the Titans.
What?
So
who trades your kicker? Like, who does that?
Yeah, I don't know who trades for a kicker is even a bigger question.
We're talking about the Titans who didn't want to give AJ Brown a big contract. They just gave it to an older DeAndre Hopkins.
Very true.
They're kind of backwards. They're kind of backwards.
Those are the Colts fans who didn't want to give their star running back a contract.
They want star running back trade too. Like, they want like a first round pick. They want this, that, but they won't give them star running back money.
We want $15 million to the player that we won't give 10 to.
Exactly.
But Bijan's probably sitting out there just like, no one talks to me, man. No one asks me about my money because he's making the most by far.
Yeah,
he's sitting there like,
or they can say they're blaming like Todd Gurley, and who was the other guy?
Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke Elliott. All these running backs, they score these huge contracts and do nothing after that.
You guys
kind of heard it.
Bijan opened his own mustard company too.
Yeah.
Bijan
mustard. Bijan mustard.
Bijan.
Yeah.
Bijan.
Oh, man.
All right, the last thing before we move into our predictions. What's his name? Will Levis signed a lifetime contract. Have you heard about this?
No.
A lifetime contract with Hellman's Mayonnaise. Now, do you guys know why this is like a thing?
No.
Oh, okay. So Will Levis, during his interview process, he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
Oh yeah. I remember.
And the mayonnaise that they showed him putting in his coffee was Miracle Whip. But Miracle Whip dropped the ball on here, and they ended up signing with Hellman's. So he's a lifetime contract with Hellman's because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise, my guy. That's
well, hey, let me tell you. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Like in my childhood, I loved Miracle Whip. Like you couldn't get me off of it. Like Hellman's was nasty to me, and at some point it flipped, and
You flip-
now
Round of
I'm like a
applause.
Hellman's guy,
Let's go,
and
Miguel.
I can't go back to Miracle Whip.
Nah,
Wild.
nah. Miracle Whip is made of like processed vegetables. Nah, I'm staying away from that.
Now,
Give me my eggs and oil, bro.
I understand what why he uses it. It's a, I don't know if you heard of bulletproof diets. So he's making himself a bulletproof coffee with mayonnaise. I'm not going to try it. I love coffee and I love mayonnaise, but I'm not going to put them together.
People think I'm weird because I use mayonnaise some weird things. I use it so like if I'm making pancakes, what I do, I'll use mayonnaise to actually like grease the pan because it gives a better insulator than butter, so you get like a better browning on your pancakes. I do the same thing with like my grilled cheeses, but that's about my extent of being weird with mayonnaise. Like other than that, mayonnaise goes on some sandwiches. You use it to make some sauces, some aiolis and such. Like not coffees, not my hot chocolate or anything like that. That's weird. I wouldn't put it past Will Levis at this point, man. I could see him put it in his mixed drinks. He's sitting there like, "Yo, martini, shaken, add mayonnaise, not stirred." It's like,
is that going to be part of your repertoire down there on your cruise, Miguel? Some mayonnaise and cocktails?
Hell no.
Will Levis would sponsor you.
Will Levis.
Yeah, listener, if you're wondering why I'm still here and not on my cruise, because the Florida got hit by a hurricane unexpectedly, and my flight got canceled. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be on that boat.
So yeah, so lucky us, we got Miguel for this podcast. So Miguel doesn't miss one after all.
Right? It did dawn on me when we got in here. I was like, wait a second, there's 3 of us here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, so moving on. I guess our roster is set. I'm sure Howie's going to do some little tweaks here and there, of course, because we need a punter, I guess.
It's Howie season still.
It's just let him cook. So moving on, I want to go over what our predictions are for the season, our record, what we're going to be at. The Eagles are on paper have the hardest schedule in all of the NFL, and the Atlanta Falcons have the easiest. So if you go by last year's standards, the Falcons should make the Super Bowl, right? Because that's what theoretically, according to Madden, right?
According to Madden, yep. I was gonna say I didn't want to give any spoilers away, but according to Madden,
so theoretically, that's what we're looking at as an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl, because the Eagles had an easy schedule. That's why they made the Super Bowl, because they had an easy schedule, and so the Atlanta Falcons have an easy schedule, so they should make the Super Bowl, right? That's what the argument was. Is anybody going to argue with me about that, or what do you think?
Nope.
No, but I got a question for you, boys.
Okay.
So I just opened up some sports books.
Yes.
We are favored to win by 3.5 points over New England.
3 points.
3. Bro, and if you push that number a little higher, the odds become very good.
Right.
Wow. I don't see how do we not win by at least 10, right?
They have to.
That's a moneymaker bet right there. I think it's honestly, it goes money for us at 5 points.
Right.
5 points. That's less than a touchdown.
Oh, let's start off. Okay, so our first game of the season, New England Patriots. We are only by favored by 3 points. But that's a win or a loss?
We win for 3.5.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm playing we win.
In the beginning of the preseason, hearing that all the news is coming out, like they're having difficulty setting up for plays. The defense is not substituting in time. They're causing delay of game penalties. Like that first game had me worried that maybe the new coaching staff wouldn't be ready, that they get out coached by Belichick. But I just see our talent on the field is so much better than what New England has right now. So I change it. I've been juggling back and forth, but now hearing what they've done in the last couple of days, I say we win that game.
Agree. Thursday night, Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins, prime time, same as last year. What do you say?
You already know. It's a win.
No,
Kirk Cousins.
big
Kirk Cousins doesn't play good in prime time.
That's a win. There's a win. So now we're 2-0 going to Tampa Bay. That's got to be another win, right? That's
By the
no
way,
question.
did you hear Kirk Cousins' new nickname?
I
Kirk
saw-
Chains.
Why?
Kirk Chains. What the fuck?
You gotta have the chains on after his wins.
I
Yeah.
can't. Kirk Cousins is so vanilla
I
that
love it. I
that
actually love it.
I just can't. I can't take it. Watching him on the quarterback show is like,
Yeah. When he was showing you his trophy room and he made it sound like you're walking into the Taj Mahal. Oh, this guy built this door to make it look like a show, so nobody knows it's here. And you push it in, and it's like it looks like a fucking GameStop like wall with no shows.
he's got that mannequin with his jersey on it, and he's got an empty shelf for the Super Bowl. We're like, dude, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, you're not.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so
Like you said, week 3 Tampa.
2-0 going to Tampa. That's got to be another
Three.
win. So now we're 3-0. Washington at home. That's got to be a win, right?
As long as I don't go to the game, it's a win.
Okay, so do you have plans of going to that game?
I don't.
Okay, good.
Good.
So that's a win. All right, so now we're 4-0. Travel
Rams.
to the Rams. The Rams, all right? They're mediocre. They're not going to beat the Eagles.
Could that be a?
Is that a trap game?
Yeah, I was gonna say, could that be a trap game? Because then we got to come back east and play the Jets after that.
What do we say? Mark's shaking his head no, but so not a trap
Put the
game.
W.
All right, that's 5-0 against
Right.
now. That's prime time again against the Jets.
I say we lose that game, and here's why.
Here's why.
Because the Jets are riding high right now. They're probably going to start. I don't know what their schedule looks like in the beginning. I'm sure they think they play
They're
the Bills
starting
the
off
first game.
0-1.
I don't know about that, but what I was gonna say, the reason why I would be acceptable to losing that game against the Jets, because if we see them in the Super Bowl, I don't want the narrative to be, oh, the Jets are playing a team they've never beaten, and then that gives them more of a, hype to play us harder in the Super Bowl. So I would rather lose to them now in season
Because the Eagles have never have lost to the Jets. That's what you're saying,
right?
Mark, what's your?
The Eagles have never lost to the Jets, my guy.
Yeah, but
Eagles.
never doesn't last forever.
It does in Philadelphia. Okay,
Doesn't.
we aren't doing this,
even
my
a
guy.
clock is
Look.
even a broken clock is right twice a day, brother.
What's happened last time the Eagles faced Aaron Rodgers?
I was there. Big win, blowout
And
win.
now we're going up against Aaron Rodgers and the New York I can't beat the Eagles Jets.
All right.
I'm sorry, my guy. I'm sorry. This ain't gonna end
Mike,
well.
write this down so we can go back to this when we get to that game.
Aaron Rodgers is not gonna be a happy man playing the Eagles. All right. They got some good players. They're not stopping the birds, man.
Oh man. Okay, so that's the problem that I have is that if we do lose against the Jets, the next week is the Dolphins, and everyone has us losing to the Dolphins.
We're losing to the Dolphins.
All right, so I'll put a win down.
Is Tua playing that game though? If
Doesn't
Tua's
matter.
not playing, then we're not losing that game.
When we went up against the 0-6 Dolphins with Fitz Magic, okay, we still lost.
I know.
We don't know how to play the Dolphins. It's the Eagles and the Jets are one side of the coin, and the Eagles and the Dolphins are the other. We only know how to beat the Jets. We don't know how to beat the Dolphins. It just happens.
All right, so that'll be our first loss is against the Dolphins. I hate the idea of that.
Disagree,
I hate
but okay.
I hate it.
No, you can go ahead and take Miguel's. You can have our first loss be the Jets, but I'm saying our first loss is the Dolphins.
All right, so okay, flip flop. Those are the win loss right there. Next we got
Commanders.
the Commanders in Washington. That's another win, right? We sweep the Washington Commanders. Not anything like last year, right? We're not going to pull last year's nonsense.
Hopefully Sam Howell's not that good.
He's saying he's the next Brock Purdy out there, so who knows?
How'd that work out for Brock Purdy?
Yeah. You mean he's gonna hurt his elbow?
Yeah,
Brock Purdy. Got it.
All right, so we're 7-1, going into our first game against the Dallas Cowboys in Philly.
Who are we playing? Are we playing Cooper Rush? Are we playing Dak? Are we playing Trey Lance?
Well, it's what, the 8th game? So
it's probably Trey Lance.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's our 9th. It's the 9th game. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's the 9th game.
Well, if it's Trey Lance has never won in an outdoor setting with bad weather. So if it's raining out, there's no chance for him.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's Cooper Rush, he's never beat the Eagles. And if it's Dak Prescott, then we're gonna have more touchdowns on defense and offense. Either way, I think that's a win.
Win, Miguel?
Win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so now we go into our bye week. Week 10 is a bye. Coming off a bye.
To win.
Prime time. Wow. Wow.
So win. They got something to prove.
Prime time, coming off a bye. Kansas City Chiefs. Miguel says win before I can get it out of my mouth. What about you, Mark?
You're not allowed to win in Arrowhead, man. If the refs don't like you, the only time it got away with it was Burrow, and then the refs didn't like Burrow anymore, so they gave it to him. So I just feel like it's a refs game. It's going to their fandom, and that's the Chiefs.
Yes, I don't see that. I don't see that.
We got something to prove. I think we take the referees out of the game by outscoring Kansas City so much that it doesn't even matter.
I mean, hey, the Chargers did that 2 years ago. They scored like 30 points in the first half, and then every play was a penalty. They couldn't move forward. It was like throw the ball 15 yards penalty for holding. It's like on who? That guy. They just keep dogging you down until you just can't go forward.
You could put the refs in any game is going to cost us a game, even the ones that we just said that we say W for. So
yeah, but they're not the Chiefs. Mahomes is the icon of the NFL, man. You're not to let him lose.
Your logic baffles me sometimes, Mark. Baffles me.
Nah, I would like to see us win. I'm just saying, in my vision, I just don't picture us winning because I just feel like the NFL doesn't want us to win that game.
I feel like they do want us to win that game.
That's what I do. I say a win in Kansas City. I'm going with a win in Kansas City this time.
I'll take it.
I see it. And then we have Buffalo at home, which I think is a win.
Josh Allen. Easy dub. Josh Allen's a joke. Overrated.
And then we have the 40 Winers coming to Philly yet again.
Win. We got to win that game.
That's a must win, right?
Is that a must? Got to win that game.
I think that's a blowout.
It's a blowout. Yeah. A blowout. All right. So then,
who's the quarterback?
It's going to be it's going to be their 4th string quarterback. They're going to be crying how they can't have 5 quarterbacks on the
team. Why are we allowed to have 5 quarterbacks on our team?
I want 5. You can have 5, just you're going to have to lose other positions. That's the idea with you managing your roster, guy.
Also, real quick, just we skipped kind of past them pretty quick. I don't know if you guys know. I think I sent you guys the little videos of the guy. There's some Bills content creator who's kind of generated some buzz for a while. He made a comment the other day. He was rating the divisions in the NFL, and it was like AFC North, then AFC East, then AFC West, and then the NFC East. And it was pretty much saying, like, obviously, if the Bills were in any NFC division, they'd have multiple championships by now.
Wow.
Easy. I'm like, you can't beat the AFC, and that's who you need to beat for the championship, my guy. Like,
right.
If you can't win your own conference, you're not winning. That's just how it goes.
That is wild.
God, dude, Bills fans are becoming Niners fans level of just who have become Dallas fans level of just. They're just. It's a cascading effect of just. Like, just there's no brain there.
Wow. So after the 49ers blowout, we go to Dallas. I'm going to say that might be a loss because coming down, right?
I agree.
No, Mark?
Who's their quarterback at that point? No way. No, get out of here with this. No, we're not losing to Lance or Cooper Rush. Come on, man.
So what do
who's their running back? You're going to say Tony Pollard's going to be healthy the whole season? It's going to be Mini-Man Vaughn? That's not happening.
Mini-Man Vaughn?
That's not happening, my guy.
You think I should put a win down for this?
You put whatever you want down. I'm putting a win down. I'm saying we sweep the Cowboys this year. There's not a question.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. I will bet you money I'll put money down on it. The Giants have a better record against us than the Cowboys.
Well, I think so because the way the schedule's set up, they will.
Oh no, I mean a total record, not just like us versus each other.
Oh.
I mean like they're fighting us for the division, not the Cowboys.
Wow,
that team's in disarray. That's a glamified version of what's happening in Arizona. We just don't see it the same way. It's happening. It's falling apart.
Wow. All right, I'll go for a win. I like sweeping Dallas. I'll take that. But now you go to Seattle. And Seattle is what? A win? A loss?
Either way, we just not go.
The whole East Coast to the West Coast, the defense doesn't travel. Bullshit that comes along with it. So it's really a toss up at that point. I mean,
I'll go for the loss in Seattle then. There's got to be a loss in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
it has to be. Now we have these last 3 games are going to be very weird because it's Giants, Cardinals, Giants. I think we beat Giants at home that week. I think that's week 16. They win that, and then we have Arizona come in, and Arizona, their team is a dumpster fire. Like, what is Jonathan Gannon doing?
Exactly what we figured he would do.
Well, he's having a dumpster fire. Is what he's doing.
It's terrible. It's terrible to see, but he deserves it of what he pulled here. So I'd say that's a win right there.
Yep.
And then the last game of the season, no starters are playing.
Oh yeah, we're not winning that.
That's a loss.
Yeah.
So that ends our season 14-3, same as last season. Go figure.
I'm not mad at it.
Go figure. And that's us saying it's the hardest schedule in football, and we still have the same record. Go figure about that.
I was on that the other day. I saw someone had posted that apparently they're saying that now our schedule, that there's been adjustments, and now our schedule is like middle of the pack.
Oh, here we go. See all the excuses that start coming out about the Eagles' schedule and what everybody thinks.
Yeah, I had
I saw it by percentage. They're the hardest.
Yeah,
schedule.
Right now. So according to Sharp Football Analysis, we have the 13th easiest schedule, and the hardest is the Patriots.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
there's no rhyme or reason, I don't think, to it.
I don't know, man. It's all I will say though is looking at this schedule. I'm not making any financial advice. I'm just saying personally, if I were a betting man, I'm putting a little bit of money on the Saints for a few different games this year. They have the overall easiest schedule, and their division's trash. They're probably the most solid team down there.
I thought the Falcons were the team.
They're apparently
in that
number
division. 2. Okay.
I don't trust Ritter. I got to see something from the guy first. I trust Carr. I know Carr has had some ups and downs, but he's had more ups than downs, and he's got a really good team around him. Ritter's got, Drake London, who hasn't really shown a lot. Pitts, who kind of hasn't developed the way everyone expected. He's got Bijan, which could probably, Bijan will probably do better than Ritter will. So I just don't know what I trust in Atlanta right now with Arthur Smith there. Like maybe he's got it coming. We got it, maybe another year to develop. I will say I'm looking at the schedule according to this, and again, this is just Sharp Football Analysis. Has San Fran with the 5th easiest schedule. So, of course, they're going to be rocking and rolling, thinking they're so hot until they play a real team.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
They're too busy fighting each other right now for a preseason game.
I know, right?
He's
that
right.
was insane, man. Ugh.
Yeah, the amount of talk they say about Eagles fans, Philadelphia fans in general, no one's really lost their lives at an Eagles game.
Yeah.
But I can't say that about a Giant. Someone at a San Francisco Giants game. That's kind of sus right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Eagles 14-3. They are probably the number 1 team in the NFC.
Barely.
They have a first round bye. Let's do our Super Bowl predictions here. Super Bowl predictions. It's again, but now it's actually we're recording it where we just kind of.
I know.
The other part was just Instagram thing. I'll go first. I do have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Miguel's team, 42-17.
Wow.
It's going to be a no contest. The Eagles are going to blow that team out. Sorry,
Is that
Miguel.
the same one you put on Instagram?
It's the same one I put on Instagram. Yep.
That's some money.
That is money right there.
That's a bit high in a Super Bowl, just because Super Bowl never has points like that. That's why I'm like, damn.
That's it. 42-17. That's where I'm putting my team at. Mark, what do you say? Do you want to stay with your original prediction, or are you going to change it right now?
Well, my original was what? Us over the Bengals?
Correct. Yes.
I have a strong feeling the Bengals are going to have a good season. However, I think that now the more I look at their division, with the way the Steelers have started to look a little better, the Ravens are looking pretty hot. I feel like they might beat each other up a little bit more than I was anticipating. Obviously, I got to go Birds. I mean, come on. It's the Birds. But I feel like maybe. I don't know, man. Part of me, I want to see it be the Chargers because I feel like mainly because I want to see
Wonder why.
No, it's not even that though. I'm looking at a division, and I want Kansas City to just be out of it. Like I don't want them to be like another Super Bowl run. I want the whole league to be like, oh damn, they didn't win their division this year. They're out early. I want them to get first round wild card knockout. I don't want them in. Because I'm so tired. I feel like once they're in the playoffs, doesn't matter what else happens. It's the Mahomes show. Whether or not he wins, it's everything. Every news line is about Mahomes, and I'm tired of it. So, part of it
Brady-esque, very Brady,
and yeah, annoyingly so. And the thing is, though, is that I can listen to Brady talk a lot more than I can listen to Mahomes talk. Mahomes,
only because he talks like this. You mean?
God,
I don't know why you think he's sweet.
He grates my ears. A part of me is like, okay, I want to see it be the Chargers because I feel like Herbert has a good core around him. I want to see it happen. I feel like for the story, it'd be kind of cool to see the Jets go with Rodgers. But I feel like Miami's still a better team than the Jets. Man. I'm going to throw a curveball at you, though. Eagles over Ravens.
Wow.
Wowzers.
27-20.
Wow, that's a close game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sleeper Ravens. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Our team's dedicated. I'm like, you know what? Let's give them a chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Miguel?
I know for the Instagram thing, I think I picked Buffalo versus the Eagles, and I forget what I picked the score to be, but
yeah, you picked Buffalo 35-28 Eagles.
Right. I don't know. I feel we're gonna get a rematch. I think it's gonna be Eagles, Kansas City once again.
Okay.
And another hard fought game, but we come up on top. And I'm gonna say 45-35, up by 10.
Okay, Eagles win.
Yeah,
okay. Redemption
exactly.
game.
Exactly.
I feel like the redemption game's going to happen in the season, though. I'll be honest. So I did a full season prediction with a buddy the other day, and we use a website where each week you're just presented all the games, and like the totals are there, but like you can kind of have them off screen. So that's what we did. We had it off screen. We just picked the games head to head, the whole line. And in the end, just went with whatever it was. We ended up with the Chiefs being 11-6. And I was like a little shocked. I was like, I'm surprised because I went back through it and I was like, all right, it could be here or there, but like I didn't feel bad about the losses, but I was kind of shocked by the number.
Right. Yeah. 11-6.
So,
that's an odd number.
The AFC is going to be a hard conference altogether, so there's going to be a lot more unexpected stuff to happen in the NFC. So, like, I can give you my Madden prediction for Madden 24. They had, well, all right. So Well, how do you want me to break this down? You want me to give you the
Eagles record.
Eagles record? The Eagles finished 9-8. And mind you, this is all Madden, 15-minute quarters, no accelerated clock. Then this is all simulated. But
Right.
So they finished 9-8. They played the first round in the playoffs against the Cardinals and lose.
The Cardinals make the playoffs.
Yeah.
in Madden 24.
Now how I know that Madden is glitched is when I looked at the playoff picture, they have the Colts as a number 2 seed on the AFC. Like how? There's got to be a big glitch in Madden. Like this is highly.
That's
sus.
not. Yeah. Not right. No.
Right. So yeah, they had the Cowboys as the number 1 seed in the NFC.
No.
Washington made it as a 5th seed. Yeah. And then I simulated them into the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was the Falcons versus the Chiefs, where the Chiefs won.
The Falcons. See, like I said, easiest schedule. They make the Super Bowl. That's the script. That's the script.
I tell you what. So I told you guys before we were recording, we had me and my buddy's first season, and for that one ended up being the Eagles versus the Titans, and the Eagles destroyed them.
Of course.
Which was odd. It was just a hilarious thing to come back because like I don't expect the Titans to really go far at all. But yeah,
I mean, you got to expect them to go far. They just traded for a kicker, dude. That's unheard of. They're
the missing piece.
Super Bowl now. They're going to the Super Bowl.
It's the missing piece. It's the missing piece.
My bad. You're right. I made the mistake. Damn.
Yeah, you did. You're off, Mark. You're off. You're done. You're
done. I'm a problem, man. I just, I've heard some people tell me that Deshaun Watson is going to be back to his former self, and you're going to see the Colts.
Yeah, I heard. And if MVP numbers he's going to put up this year, I heard.
No.
All right, so here's a question for you. Some of me and my guys were talking the other day during the draft. Trevor Lawrence, does he finish top 5 as a top 5 quarterback this year?
I think so.
Of course you do.
Yeah. I think. Well, I mean, no. I bet
money on it.
Okay, yeah, I'm a fan. Blah 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 blah. But the fact that they added Calvin Ridley and a couple other key players out there to help him feel more comfortable in the offense, and Dougie P's out there, I feel like he will be. If he's not top 5, he's definitely going to be in the top 10.
I feel like he made top 10, but my thought, like we were talking about MVP votes, and I'm like, all right, hold on. I'm thinking Hurts is going to be up there.
Hurts,
Mahomes has to be. Burrow has to be. Allen has to be. So Lamar Jackson. Already have 4. You got Lamar Jackson. You got possibly Justin Herbert. You got like these guys up there. You got possibly Aaron Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins.
You really think Trevor Lawrence is top 5?
Mike, wake up.
I just don't see it, man. I was surprised that Mike's not saying Anthony Richardson over here. Mike be like, let's go.
Sleeper. It's my sleeper. That's my sleeper.
He's going with Riddler.
He's my first pick in fantasy on Saturday. I'm taking him first pick, 12th pick.
Do it.
Anthony Richardson, 12th pick.
$100 as you don't.
I'm going to draft all Colts. All Colts.
Yeah. You know what? I watched that happen last year when someone drafted all Dolphins who they'd never played fantasy before. Worked out real well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. He was amazed how well he did with his one win.
How about that?
Yeah. No, I thought it'd go well. I just I wonder with his accuracy issues who's gonna like this is all I look at weird stats. I want to see what rookie quarterback leads in picks. Because to me, they don't look good.
No.
So I'm expecting. I've heard people talk about how Bryce Young's probably gonna have a really good career, and you guys know my feeling on this. I don't see it. I think Bryce Young 5 years from now is probably looking at a new career.
Who's going to be better? Who's going to be better this season? CJ Stroud or Young?
Bryce Young.
Ooh,
I think Bryce Young will, because Bryce Young's probably in a better situation than
he's in a better situation. He has an easier schedule, and he can just give the ball to Miles Sanders. So like he doesn't need to do that much
until Miles Sanders gets hurt, which is that's inevitable.
Overall, though, I honestly think that they're both terrible. Like, if either one of them gets 500 this year, I'll be shocked. and they both have top 10 easiest schedules in the NFL.
Right.
So just putting that out there. Good luck to you, boys. You both suck. I think Anthony Richardson outperforms both of them, maybe.
Wow.
And he does not have a lot to go on. He did not play a lot, and his accuracy in college was not great.
Wow.
But he does have the athleticism of like a Fields or a Lamar, so not quite up there. But it's if you were to rank quarterbacks by their athleticism out the pocket, you know it's gonna be Lamar, it's gonna be Fields, and like obviously we all love Hurts. I think Richardson is probably a bit quicker. He might be up there. And then of course a lot of quarterbacks are. I mean, Dan still at this point. So
there's a lot of good quarterbacks out there, and definitely top 10 quarterbacks it's pretty stacked. And
Danny Jones,
most of them are in the AFC, and they all got to fight it out in the AFC, and which makes it easier for the NFC.
Jerry would tell you that he has 3 of the top 10 quarterbacks. So
Jerry.
They're so good at throwing the ball down there.
I'm excited to talk with Nat about when the Eagles play the Cowboys, because it's later. It's going to be later in the season. We're going to see how many picks Dak has. It's going to be a lot of fun to hear what he has to say. How the Eagles are have an easy schedule, and that's why the Cowboys are where they are. So I
agree. Here's a non.
It's going to be fun.
Here's a non-quarterback question for you guys. Another discussion we had during the draft. How does Devontae Adams do with maybe Jimmy G as his quarterback all year, or Jimmy G and someone else?
Yeah, not great, because Devontae Adams is a deep threat, and Jimmy G doesn't throw deep balls. Like, he just throws those short balls. So I see Hunter Renfrow having a good season before he does.
Undrafted in my league, by the way.
I drafted him in Miguel's league. I drafted Hunter Renfrow. So we'll see.
Who has a better season? 10 people. Okay. 10 teams. Who has a better season, Hopkins or Devontae Adams?
Oh, wow.
I feel like Hopkins has a more reliable team around him. So I expect it to be Hopkins. But, I mean, both of them have a stud running back. One's a little older than the other.
Right.
Both of them have a mid-tier quarterback. I think the Titans have a slightly better defense, and the Titans have a weaker schedule. Because you got to think, I mean, Jimmy G, you're going up against the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos.
Right.
Twice each. Not that the Broncos are great. However, Sean Payton has a history of coaching a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think going off the metrics, it's got to be Hopkins.
Yeah.
But either way, he's going high in a lot of fantasy drafts, and I don't see it.
Yeah. So there we go. I think we have exhausted the amount of predictions we can do for this possible upcoming season.
We still didn't do MVP, defensive player, offensive.
You want to
do that?
You want to go down that?
We got another pod. We got next pod.
Yeah, we could do the next one.
The next one.
He's on a cruise.
Mid-season. We could do a mid-season too, just to see who the candidates are at that point.
Our next pod will be our preview, game one. Our next podcast will be game one preview against the Patriots.
I smell football in the air.
I'm not one to push out summer, but October's looking good with the Phillies.
Wait.
The Phillies are on a roll. Like, Phillies have 57 home runs in the month of August. That's the most by a team since the Dodgers did in 2020. 57, and there's 2 more days left in the season in August. So
and Trey Turner has how many game hitting streak since Philadelphia fans gave him the standing ovation?
8 or 9 game hit streak. He's batting 380, I think, since then. It's pretty good. It's pretty good to be an Eagles fan and a Phillies fan.
Positive energy breeds positive results, my guys.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right.
Can we get this kind of support behind the Flyers, though? Like, can we just a little bit that way too?
The what? Huh? What?
We're trying. They got to show us something first right now. And I'm not a huge hockey fan, but
let's give them a standing ovation. Maybe they'll show us something. I don't know.
You can't give a standing ovation to a corporation, so the player's okay, but
right. This real quick before we sign off here. Ben Simmons, he said he'd be happy to come back to Philly. Is there there really is something wrong with this guy, right? For him to come back and say there's something wrong with his head, right?
Of course, definitely.
Like
you really think they're gonna trade you back to Philly? Like,
do you think Philly would want you back at this point? Like, no.
Trade Harden for Ben Simmons?
Straight up, do it.
Easy.
Harden.
No, hold on, no.
Yo, how wild would that be? That'd be
Simmons,
so fucking wild.
Give us Simmons and a draft pick. Like,
no, give us Simmons and Curry.
Right.
Give us Stephen Curry back. I do that. I give you Harden
or Mikal Bridges. I'll take Ben Simmons and Mikal Bridges off your hands if you take Harden away.
If you give me Curry and Ben and
can you imagine? That's this guy. What is this guy thinking? What is he thinking to come out and telling people that he would come back to Philly? Like
second home, man.
Yeah, second home.
You know why though? Let's be honest. It's because it's the same thing that is being said by other players in other leagues, like Myles Garrett, like Micah Parsons. It's Philly, man. For all the hate we get, look at this. Look at that. A player that we have done nothing but criticize and boo.
Right.
Knows that this is a better city than anywhere else he can go.
Right.
That just shows you how great we are here in Philly.
Right. On that note, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Miguel.
No
Our season is right around the corner.
We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. A week and a half.
All I know is nowadays,
we can change.
Nowadays, you open the door for someone at Wawa, and when they walk by, you say, "Go Birds."
Go Birds.
Birds.
It's that time of year again.
You know how we do. EAGLES.
Eagles.
Go Birds. Hit that music.